Hello and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Volodymyr Solohub. Join me now to discuss the progress of Ukraine in reforming its public procurement system, as well as the efforts to eradicate corruption in the taxation area, as the head of Ukraine Reforms Communications Taskforce and business ombudsman with the State Fiscal Service of Ukraine, Mr. Kachka. Mr. Kachka, welcome to Viewpoint.
Hello.
Mr. Kachka, just last week, let's talk about the public procurement system and the reforms which the government is trying to do in that area. Just last week, in this very studio, the Deputy Economy Minister said that the government is trying to fight corruption in that area, but the corruption schemes still exist. Can you tell us, in your opinion, why is it taking so long?
It's taking so long because public procurement is connected with budget cycles as well. So if something is scheduled for being procured, it will be procured this year. Therefore, all novelties introduced by Minister of Economy and Max Nefedov as a key promoter of this reform, they will make most impact this year, and I believe that the strongest impact will be next year, because this year it will be visible what kind of procurement should be correlated or cancelled. It's not only to buy something with cheaper price or more comfortable conditions or favorable conditions to state. It is also a question about whether we need to buy something. And it is good that this process is more dynamic in state enterprises, because state enterprises are dealing as a normal corporations or normal companies. Therefore, if something is already heralded as a not necessary procurement, it can be cancelled today immediately. In state sector, in procurements of ministries and other institutions, this process is more formal, is more bureaucratic. Therefore, it will take 1 or 2 budget cycles. It means 1 or 2 years before we will see the ultimate economy. Yeah,
but okay, that's understandable about economy, but what about stopping corruption? Why does it take so long? The government has been working on that during the entire 2015. Now you're saying that they need entire 2016 to complete that, and maybe in 2017 we'll see the results. And
I believe 2015 is not final year, so that the final result will be seen sometimes in future, but let's concentrate
on... Mr. Nefedov said that every year the budget is losing up to $2 billion on public procurement.
It could be not only corruption, but also inefficiency in buying something. So that when government is buying something which is totally not necessary for the government.
So why is it so difficult to stop these schemes right now?
It is difficult because these schemes have been developed for years, and sometimes for decades, and you can imagine inertia, because sometimes the function of whole system, for example, of public health, depends on particular inefficient procurements. And in order to get rid of inefficient procurements, you should change system as well. So what is really good result of last year, that all inefficiencies of procurements of different kinds, not only public procurements as procedures, what is promoted by Mr. Nefedov, but also the mere effect what government is buying, became visible. More and more people are putting their noses into what is bought for money collected as a revenues from taxes and from private companies. So how state spends our money. And this is a really good one, and we saw the positive result of it within budget process. You remember this very heated debate about budget immediately before New Year, and some elements, absolutely scandalous elements, it was managed. So the people, MPs, managed to get rid of scandalous items of spendings, but we have more and more items to be analyzed, to be critically assessed, and this very comprehensive and very complex work will be done this year. Therefore, we are moving step by step in getting rid of these small things. You cannot just say that there is an item in budget called corruption and you just delete this one line in the budget. It's everywhere. Sometimes
the corruption is very systemic. Mr. Kachka, can we talk a bit about the public procurement in the defense area? Ukraine is at war. Does the corruption exist in the public procurement in that area as well?
This question is not so simple because I believe that generally people say yes, and especially taking into account the experience of volunteers and and experience of helping army from society, so and the financial support as well. So the fact that people put their private money, their own money for supporting army means that state budget was, and the majority sometimes is, inefficient and therefore corrupted as well. But what is
But does inefficiency means corruption?
This is the question which is really important, because I believe that what is important now is, for example, when we are talking about supply of food for army, we have a good discussion about what is efficient, what is not efficient, how to get rid of corrupted suppliers and to change them with more transparent and honest one. And of course, you know that when you start this discussion, it is really difficult to stop this discussion, because it's not only a question how to change one supplier with another supplier. This is I believe, continuous discussion about how to make it efficient. Therefore, I think that the general understanding that this budget, the defense budget, is corrupted will continue by inertia for quite a long period of time. But what is really good and what is really positive is that the change between 2013 or beginning of 2014 and now are enormous. So now we can say about workable budget, workable defense budget. Of course, there are a lot of inefficiencies, but at least this budget satisfies demands of army.
So what is being done to combat the inefficiency within the defense area, within the public procurement in the defense area? Because as you correctly said, a lot of volunteers who travel almost on a weekly basis to the war zone, to eastern Ukraine, who deliver supplies to the Ukrainian army, they do say and they do confirm that the Ministry of Defense is buying just useless stuff.
Yeah, and you just provide answer to your question that we have two critical points here.
Yeah, but the question is what can be done to combat the inefficiency?
Yeah, two points here. One is what is requested or what is ordered by ministry, so the technical requirements and so on. So what is happening within Ministry of Defense, and another is, let's say, critical assessment of particular equipment or particular uniform or ordered for our soldiers. And what has been done is that the communication has been established. There is a correlation of activities of Ministry of Defense to the reaction of volunteers, of soldiers, of officers, and so on. And now we might say that even volunteers are saying that finally Ministry of Defense is supplying or ordering and buying the equipment which is necessary. And finally Ministry of Defense is buying this stuff which was previously supplied by volunteers.
Do you think that the fact that a lot of volunteers actually joined the Ministry of Defense helped?
And this is the key success of Ukrainian reforms, is that now we have volunteers everywhere. In Ministry of Defense, it was most visible part because it was connected with war conflict. But the civil society role in every reform, including public procurement and Ministry of Economy, taxes everywhere. So civil society plays crucial role in advocating changes, in defending changes, in promoting changes, and then implementing changes as well. So almost every success in Ukrainian reforms, we should really be grateful to civic activists and civil society, because it is the force which really pursue reforms in Ukraine.
Yeah, it looks like Ukrainian government needs volunteers on every level. Thank you very much for finding the time to come and talk to us, Mr. Kachka. We were talking about the government's continued efforts to fight corruption within the public procurement system. I'm Volodymyr. Thank you for watching Viewpoint.